Saab. To tonight's top story, the country Liberal Party has swept to victory in the NT, ending 8 years of Labor government. Significant losses have been inflicted on the government, including Chief Minister Eva Lawler, who has lost her seat of Drysdale. The ABC's election analyst Anthony Green described the result as substantial defeat to Labor, predicting the CLP will win with a majority. CLP leader Leah Finocchiaro described her victory as a result for hope and opportunity for every Territorian.
It is an absolute honour and a privilege to stand here before you as the first female Country Liberal Party Chief Minister of the Northern Territory. Second-generation Territory kid, the granddaughter of Italian migrants, I grew up living an iconic Territory childhood, hunting, camping, fishing and playing outside. I always knew the Territory was a special place and I was lucky to be a Territorian. Growing up here, I felt the energy and opportunity that the Territory would give me. I have always felt blessed and proud to be Territorian. When I put my hand up to serve the people of the Northern Territory in 2012, I swore an oath to defend our freedoms and fight for future generations who deserve the opportunities and lifestyle that I had growing up here. This result represents a turning point in the Territory's future. Territorians have used their voice to stand up against Labor, who have taken them for granted for far too long. Territorians have stood up against nearly 2 decades of escalating crime, an economy going backwards, and the erosion of our once iconic lifestyle. But tomorrow is the start of a new day and a new chapter. Tomorrow is a new chapter for the Territory and it's a moment of forward momentum for all of us. It represents the power of a community to take control of their future by electing a strong, united team of Territorians with the real world and government experience to set a new course for our community, our economy and our future.
Speaking to party faithful at Labor's headquarters, Eva Lawler said it has been a privilege to be Chief Minister.
Look out tonight, I see the party faithful, the people who have been around since 2001, that have been committed to Labor and I know will continue to be committed to Labor. To all of you who are here, I love you. You are the Labor family, the family that I'm very, very proud to have led. I think you all know my story. There was a nice article in the NT News today. It has been tough. My husband passed away in 2018, but I know he's watching down, and I know every single day he's always supported me in all the roles that I have. But to all my family and to the people who are my new family, my Labor family, the people who always look after me, thank you very much. Full funding of education is one that I will be very proud of. That truly will make a difference in the Northern Territory. We've fought hard for that for our 8 years, and even prior to that I fought hard as a Deputy Chief Executive to have full funding for all our schools, and I thank Jason Clare, the Federal Education Minister, for his work that we've in collaboration with our government around that. I'm very proud of the $11 billion spend in infrastructure in the Northern Territory. $11 billion. When people ask where's the debt and what's been spent on, $11 billion of infrastructure in the Northern Territory. And I'm really proud of the Palmerston Hospital, the Palmerston Police Station, the Palmerston Fire Station, and 2 schools in Palmerston. And we could talk, and I could talk for hours about the infrastructure in the Northern Territory.
The New South Wales Hunter region has been hit with its second earthquake in 2 days. The 4.5 magnitude quake was observed near Muswellbrook at around 4:30 this afternoon. Reporter Lillian Watkins has more.
There have been several aftershocks felt today, one nearly as big as the quake that hit yesterday. A 4.5 magnitude earthquake hit the town of Muswellbrook, about 120 kilometres west of here, at about 4:30 p.m. today. It follows a 4.7 magnitude earthquake that hit the same region at about midday yesterday. The epicentre was in the same spot, which they've since pinpointed to the heart of BHP's Arthur Coal Mine in Denman, near Muswellbrook. So far, there have been no reports of injury and only some minor damage. There have been power outages this evening, but it's understood they have been restored. Muswellbrook is still being plagued by water outages from yesterday's quake. Yesterday's quake was the biggest to hit the Hunter since the devastating 1989 Newcastle earthquake, which killed 13 people.
A woman has been charged with murder after a man's body was found inside a surfboard bag on a rural property in northern New South Wales. The body of a 62-year-old man was discovered in the driveway of the Darkwood property near Coffs Harbour on Thursday evening. Detectives arrested 35-year-old Lisa Marie Cummings, who was known to the man, in Numbucca Heads yesterday. She was charged with domestic violence, murder, and faced court today, where she did not apply for bail. Police are trying to determine what caused the death of a man who was found in Western Sydney Park this morning. A passerby discovered the man in the Auburn Park just before 7 a.m. He had suffered a serious injury to the back of his head. Police performed CPR on the man, but he couldn't be saved. He's yet to be formally identified, but is believed to be aged in his 30s. And homicide detectives are investigating the death of a man in a park in Melbourne's west overnight. Emergency services were called to Balmoral Park in Derrimut just before 4:30, where they found the 28-year-old man with stab wounds. The passerby who located him and ambulance officers performed CPR, but the victim died at the scene. Police are asking anyone with information to come forward. They spent the day scouring the area for evidence and may have found some clues.
I believe several knives have been found in the area. Again, are they connected to this? They'll need to be forensically examined to determine whether they are linked to this incident. But, our crime scene examination is continuing.
Turning next to breaking news, and German police say they've detained one person as they investigate a mass stabbing incident in the western city of Saarlangen. 3 people were killed and 8 injured in the attack at a festival on Friday, honouring the town's 650th anniversary. Investigators are still determining whether there's a connection between the arrested person and the attack. The motive is still unknown, and police haven't ruled out further arrests. Italian authorities have launched a manslaughter probe after 7 people were killed in a yachting accident off the coast of Sicily. Prosecutors say they don't have any individual in their sights, but the investigation will be based on salvaging the wrecked ship. Divers retrieved the remains of the last person unaccounted for, 18-year-old Hannah Lynch, 5 days after her family's luxury yacht sank near Palermo. Her father, tech entrepreneur Mike Lynch, was also killed in the tragedy. 22 people were on board the vessel when it capsized during a fierce pre-dawn storm on Monday. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. began his campaign for the White House as a Democrat. He then announced he would be running as an independent. And now the nephew of the late Democratic President John F. Kennedy has suspended his own bid and has endorsed Donald Trump.
On the campaign trail in Arizona, with a special guest in tow.
His candidacy has inspired millions and millions of Americans, raised critical issues that have been too long ignored in this country.
Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has thrown his support behind Donald Trump after suspending his own campaign for the White House, claiming he never got a fair go.
In my heart, I no longer believe that I have a realistic path to electoral victory in the face of this relentless, systematic censorship and media control.
RFK Jr. says he's found he's aligned with the Republican candidate on key issues, including funding foreign wars and border security, and the Democrats ignored his approaches.
Vice President Harris declined to meet or even to speak with me.
RFK Jr.'s polling numbers were dropping and his funds dwindling ahead of his decision. He was also making headlines more for his bizarre encounters with animals than his campaign.
I said, let's go put the bear in Central Park and we'll make it look like he got hit by a bike.
RFK Jr. comes from one of America's most prominent Democratic families.
And under the authority...
His uncle was President JFK. His father was also assassinated while seeking the Democratic presidential nomination. His siblings have condemned his decision to back the Republican candidate. Our brother Bobby's decision to endorse Trump today is a betrayal of the values that our father and our family hold most dear. These past weeks, it's been all about the Democrats, a new candidate, a new running mate, a star-studded convention. But with this announcement, the pendulum swings a little bit back towards the Republicans, and both parties will be eagerly awaiting the results of the first polls after this latest twist in the campaign.
It's a little disappointing just because we put a lot of time and energy into this. The truth is, more encouraged than I was before.
As the presidential race heads into the home straight. Barbara Miller, ABC News, Washington.
Russian police have ended a siege at a penal colony, which saw 4 prison guards killed and several more hospitalised. The men had posted videos online proclaiming their loyalty to the so-called Islamic State group. They also reportedly demanded a helicopter to help them escape. In the videos, they're holding guards hostage, and one is wearing what appears to be a rigged vest. The Russian National Guard says it stormed the facility and snipers shot the men dead. Local media is reporting the suspects were from Central Asian countries and were serving time for drug offences and manslaughter.
Pretty emotional and just it's pretty surreal. It feels a little bit weird. I think after today it'll probably really sink in. As everyone knows,
Hawthorn has cemented its final spot with a thumping win over North Melbourne in Launceston to continue the team's stunning rise under Sam Mitchell. On a weekend of lopsided results, Geelong thrashed a hapless West Coast at Cardinia Park to farewell Tom Hawkins and Zach Toohey, while last night Collingwood was too good for Melbourne. And today the Hawks sent a finals warning to their opponents with a record victory.
A wet and miserable Launceston greeted Hawthorn and North Melbourne for their rescheduled clash, but the time change and the conditions didn't bother the Hawks. Hawthorn kicking 8 second-quarter goals to end the contest. They didn't relent in the second half, Hawthorn recording its biggest ever win over North Melbourne.
And every other club fears what's ahead.
In Geelong, the game at Cardinia Park resembled a training drill as the Cats did as they pleased against an insipid West Coast. Jeremy Cameron booting 7 first-half goals as Geelong became just the 8th team in history to lead by 100 points at the main break.
Just all class.
In his farewell game, Zach Toohey kicked a rare goal.
Doing his last game of the carry. Nails it.
Cameron finished with 9 as the Cats moved into third. But they'll be sweating on the fitness of Tom Stewart, who finished the game on the bench with hamstring tightness. Last night, Nick Dacos did no damage to his Brownlow medal hopes, amassing 40 disposals and kicking 2 goals as Collingwood thrashed Melbourne at the MCG. But there will be no premiership defence, relying on Carlton to lose to St Kilda by a fanciful margin to move into the 8.
We'll sit and watch finals with a bit of a sick feeling in their guts because we want to be playing finals this time of year.
It brings down the curtain on a disappointing Demons campaign as questions continue to swirl around the future of several stars.
Christian will be part of this footy club for the next 5 years. He's had a really challenging time. We all know that. He's having to work through a lot of emotions and suffer a lot of trauma. But we'll be there to support him.
Keziah Pickett will miss the first 3 games of next season, suspended for this bump on Collingwood captain Darcy Moore in the second term. Tom Wildey, ABC News.
The Raiders have responded to last week's Cowboys hammering, upstaging the reigning premiers, the Panthers, 22 to 18 points in Canberra. A stunning intercept try stole victory from Penrith's grasp and put their position in the top 2 under pressure.
A windy afternoon in the nation's capital, and it was wreaking havoc on the players.
It stretches out.
But the Panthers quickly responded as the sides went blow for blow in the first half. Leading 12-10 at the break, this try extended Penrith's buffer.
Out of nowhere, Penrith.
Before the hosts pegged back the margin with this full field intercept, ensuring a major late season upset.
Canberra go 100 metres.
There's no if here. We're going to make the finals.
Across the ditch, the Bulldogs spoiled Shaun Johnson's send-off in Auckland and officially booked their place in finals for the first time since 2016.
The Bulldogs, they get away another cake.
But they could finish the season without skipper Stephen Crichton. Jessica Stewart, ABC News.
Well, there's more on the ABC News app and on ABC iView. I'm Mariam Saab. Stay with us. I'll be back shortly with more of today's top stories.